Hello everybody, it's Chris. I've got you with me on Startup because today we're going to Buck's Motorsports, my dealer in Akron, New York, because I'm having electrical issues. And if it throws a fit when I start up, I want you to be with me when I see it. You saw it if you watched my video, I don't know, a few videos ago. I actually caught everything except for the loud beep. When I started up, I caught everything on the camera except for that one time loud beep. So let's see what happens. I haven't ridden the Spyder in a week, but it's been on a trickle charger. Here we go, the moment of truth. Perfect startup. Not really a hesitation that I detected, so that's good because we've got a 40-mile drive, 38 miles I guess, to Buck's Motorsports, and when we get closer I'll explain what's going on. Alright, so we're a few miles out from Buck, so I'll just give you a recap. If you didn't see my video, it was a few videos ago. It was a great day. I was getting ready to head to the Kinzua Bridge to take you on a cool tour of that place and do a great video. I go to start up the Spyder and the thing lights up. And what I mean by lighting up, so I start up and immediately I get this loud beep, which was the same beep you get when you shut down the Spyder without turning the electric parking brake off, only instead of beeping like for 20 seconds, it just was one piercing beep. That never happened before. Then my engine light, the amber engine light, started blinking. That's not normally on, and when it's been on in the past, it's been steady. This was a blinking amber light. Never saw that before. I got an immediate limp home mode yellow warning on the instrument display, and that was intermittent with an amber VSS fault warning. So I go into the settings to get the fault codes. There were 3 different fault codes. So I'm thinking, okay, my trip to Kinzua Bridge is ruined, my day's ruined, who knows what's gonna happen. So I call my dealer, and my thinking is, okay, if the dealer will take me in, I'll try to ride it there either in limp mode, or if limp mode goes away, which it eventually did, but I'll bring it to the dealer that very day if they can take me in. And if they can't, and I knew that was a long shot, then I was going to roll a dice. And when I say roll a dice is if the thing started up, if that was a fluke, and if it started up normally, I would go for it. Now, Kinzua Bridge is like 2.5 hours from home for me. It's in the middle of the Pennsylvania countryside. I would not want to have a problem down there, but if you watch all of my videos, you know that we did eventually go on that trip that day. It was a great trip. And then I went on a couple of other long distance treks to see lighthouses along Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, and those were also uneventful, although I got one different VSS fault code on the Lake Erie lighthouse trip. So anyway, my dealer, I made an appointment with my dealer. Today's the day for that appointment. And, oh, that's pretty cool. And so we're gonna let them do their best at diagnosing this problem. I don't think it's a battery issue, although it could be, but I've got a new Drag Specialties battery in the machine. They just put it in April or May. I had one of those El Cheapo Haiju, H-A-I-J-U, I believe it's spelled, Chinese batteries when I bought the Spyder, and it lasted me for a year, and it took me all the way to Key West, Florida and back, even when it was only at 70% of its life at that point. So I can't really complain about that El Cheapo battery, but that's been gone for a while. We've got a new Drag Specialties battery, which I'm told is a pretty nice battery. So I don't know what these guys are going to say. Maybe it's a loose connection, maybe it's a circuitry issue. I don't know if they put it on the buds test. I don't even know what that is. I've had the Spyder for a year and a half. I should know what that is, but I don't. So anyway, I'm going to bring it to the dealer. We'll be there momentarily. We'll let them do their diagnostic on it and see where it gets us. My fear is that the dealer will do their diagnostic, look things over and say, look, everything's fine, we don't see anything wrong. If the fault codes have cleared, that's going to be that's not going to be a good thing, because I'm heading to the Adirondacks, or at least that's my plan, to shoot a series of awesome fall foliage videos. I was there last year. I was there almost at peak. It wasn't quite peak. I'm going to try to time it. It's difficult to do that. Try to time this visit so it's right at peak. And of course, I'm going to take you along with me if you watch my channel. And I don't want to get in a jam in the Adirondacks, although there's a dealer there, a Skidoo snowmobile dealership, Smith Marine, and I do believe they sell Can-Am on-road products. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe they do. But I don't want to have to deal with that. I'm hoping these guys can figure this out. But I will let you know whether they figure it out or not. We're gonna pull in right now, and I'll sit in their waiting room for a while, and then when I pull away, I'll turn the camera back on and see what they say. Wow, that was something else in a very good, very positive way. Let's see how this goes when we start up. Perfect startup. Okay, so you'll see the time is 9:57. I got here at 9 o'clock when they opened. This was one of the shortest visits I've had at Bucks Motorsports, and I'm glad at that. I was planning on being here all day and wondering, as I speculated on the ride in, wondering if even if I was here all day, if they'd be able to figure it out, because this thing is so difficult to diagnose sometimes. But this one was easy. So I had a Drag Specialties battery installed here, and it was either April or May, shortly after I got back from my long Florida trip. And I guess when he put that battery in, the tech, he didn't tighten the bolt that makes one of the connections on the positive or the negative, I'm not sure, on the battery. But anyway, that's what it was. It was a loose, and some of you speculated on a loose connection, and I'm not sure, you know, how intricate it could have been and how many connections relate to that battery and all the circuitry involved. But it was as simple as that. It was a loose battery bolt, and they put in a different bolt that like, I won't have that problem again, he assured me. And the tech was pretty confident of that. Not the tech, the service writer guy was pretty confident that this was the issue. And of course, this was done at no charge. You know, they didn't charge me anything. Because of the cause of the issue, I didn't expect the charge. I don't think it's a warranty issue. I think it's just a dealer service issue. So I'm happy as a clam, because as I mentioned when I was driving in, I've got multiple videos already planned out for my trip to the Adirondacks. This service appointment, this video is being shot in the second half of September, and I'm going to be watching both the weather and the foliage reports very closely, because I want to head up to the Adirondacks. I'm thinking the first week in October. It might be the second week, depending on foliage reports. And I need it to be I can't go up there if it's pouring rain, so I need it to be decent, not perfect, but decent weather. And I wouldn't want to do that if this thing was on the blink. So I'm real excited about it. Now, I know some of you have commented about my dealer, Bucks Motorsports, and you've said, you know, and by the way, I'm not sponsored by Bucks Motorsports. I pay, and some of you say I overpay when I go there. But some of you have kind of said, well, maybe you should try a different dealer. First of all, if you're at all familiar with the Can-Am on-road dealer network, they're not on every block. They're not on every street corner. It's ironic because there's Can-Am on-road, and then there are other Can-Am divisions that are with other dealerships. And I mentioned this before, but so my dealer is in Akron, New York, and just a few miles south of them in Elma, New York, is another Can-Am on-road dealer, and a few miles south of them is Pioneer Motorsports, another Can-Am on-road dealership. I believe they all sell Skidoo snowmobiles as well. They're in the snow belt, so I get it. But a mere 14 miles from my home is a dealership, Hebler Motors, that I bought my previous motorcycle, my KTM 890 Adventure, in another motorcycle before that. I bought that from them, and they sell Can-Am products. They sell Skidoo snowmobiles, they sell Sea-Doo watercraft, they sell Can-Am off-road, but they don't sell Can-Am on-road, which just is perplexing. But they must know what the folks who run BRP must know what they're doing, I hope. But and a lot of that's probably territorial and contractual, and there's some legacy issues involved with that. I get it. But I mention that because some of you say, well, maybe you need a new dealer. Well, one, I could go to another dealer, but they'd be a little further away. But more importantly, I love my dealer. I mean, I've had someone who I really trust and who's got a really good YouTube channel. I won't mention the name, and it doesn't matter, but I admire the fact that some riders are willing to ride for hours on end to get an oil change, or to have a tire replacement, or to buy a Spyder. In fact, I had somebody, I forgot who, but someone recommended when I was in the market for a Spyder that I go to Virginia to buy the Spyder. They said, well, the prices are really great, and they're a great dealership to work with. And I'll be honest with you, I actually looked into that. And my plan, if I was going to do that, I think that place is so cool. My plan, if I was going to do that, is I would fly from Buffalo to Dulles. I'd Uber to a Hampton Inn not far from this particular dealership. I would have contacted the dealership in advance, so I would have had a salesman from the dealership pick me up at the Hampton Inn, complete the purchase. Then I'd take 2 days to drive it home. I'd stop somewhere in Pennsylvania. But all of that rigmarole and expense, so I could save a couple of $1,000 on the Spyder, I'm sorry, but it's not worth it. And the other thing is, some of you've given my dealer a hard time because they can't diagnose things on the first run. And some of you who watch the Sean Smokes channel, as I do, he's like a Spyder whisperer, right? Like if you bring in a Spyder and there's something wrong with it, he can put his hands on it, and after 5 minutes he knows what the issue is. I'm exaggerating a little bit, and I'm not mocking him because I love him and I love his channel, but I don't expect that for that kind of I don't know, experience from my dealership. I know these are complex machines, and they're only going to get more complex as technology adds more and more features to them. So I get it if it takes them time to figure things out. And the other thing that limits my dealership's ability to service me is because I won't let them keep my Spyder overnight. I live 38 miles away, so I'm bringing it here and I'm bringing it home. So some of you who have had experiences where you leave your Spyder in the shop for like a week or a month on end, I've never had to deal with that, well, because I just won't allow it. But because of that, because I don't leave the Spyder at the dealership overnight, my dealer, I cut them a little slack when they can't figure things out right away, because I've got them under the gun, because I'm going to be leaving that afternoon whether they like it or not. Okay, so I was just singing the praises of my dealership, and I love my dealership, but I'm just noticing I've turned around. I'm heading back to the dealership because we're going 40 miles an hour. We're in 4th gear, so the RPMs are, oh my gosh, they are 0 RPMs. That's obviously another connection issue, I think. How that affects the battery, I don't know. I had RPMs on the way here. I hope. I'll have to go back and look at my video. Is it possible I rode this whole way 38 miles with no RPMs? That's not possible. Although maybe when I'm editing this video, I'll discover that I'm a complete lunatic and I rode the whole way with my tack disconnected, but I doubt it. So I'll give you another report when they look at this. I hope I don't have to, I hope this doesn't take too long. Okay, I'm really starting to question my sanity, so I shut down, had the service guy come out. He started up and the RPMs, as you can see, are working. So one of the things he said, and I should have known this because this is so technology laden, it's almost like an iPhone. He said if that happens, just shut down. If something goes wrong, shut down and try it again. And that sometimes is the solution. And as you can see, I've got a live tachometer, so we're back in business. The next videos you see, I believe, unless something happens that I feel compelled to put another video up, the next videos you see will be from the Adirondacks. I'm going to be staying in beautiful scenic inlet. We've been there before. We were just there in July for a great visit, and we're staying right there on 4th Lake in the Adirondacks. It'll make for a great series of videos with hopefully spectacular reds and yellows and oranges and all the rest of it. Let me just say, if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, comment away. If you're not a subscriber to the channel yet, if you would subscribe, I sure would appreciate it. And until that video, thanks so much for watching, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.